Hello friends! I'm making this video as a plea to Free for Free Industries and Xbox Studios in the hope that support for the Halo Wars series gets picked up again. As channel regulars know, I'm a former developer who worked on Halo Wars 2 at Creative Assembly as a game designer, touching on areas like the skirmish AI strategies, DLC units, and DLC balancing. After that gig, I got to work on Total War, Warhammer 2 and 3, and now I'm a lead systems designer at Grimlore Games on an upcoming ARPG game. When I joined the team at CA in late 2015, I was still quite green. I learned a lot on the job from my leads and peers, and it was undoubtedly a project I got to contribute a lot to as an RTS specialist. Overall, a good experience that I'm proud of. Not to mention the fact that it was successful enough to cause a surge of strategy game console ports such as Stellaris, Ancestors Legacy, Iron Harvest, Spellforce 3, and now also Age of Empires 2 and 4 and Company of Heroes 3. Sorry for any I am forgetting, feel free to list more in the comments. While I haven't physically seen Halo Wars 2 sales data since the game had its first birthday, VG Sales claims a total of 2.2 million copies sold. I can't confirm this myself, but I did witness the figure exceeding 1 million. That is not a small number for an RTS within just a few months, and yet the cancellation of additional support and Halo Wars 3 happened nonetheless. Now this number could have been much larger had things been handled differently. What's done is done, but it's not too late to restart support and significantly increase sales even today. Halo the Master Chief Collection and the Age of Empires remasters are proof of that. Hence why I'm opening up Pandora's Xbox here. I really want you all to clearly understand that revenue from game sales has a long tail. If you sell 1 million copies of an RTS game within the first year, you are doing very well already and can take action to accelerate the process. Taking action now will be less effective than it would have been at launch or the point of the Awakening the Nightmare DLC releasing, but I still believe it's not over and that a long tail can still exist. In the end, more people enjoying Halo Wars is the main thing I'm after. And let's be honest, a third installation in the series should be the culmination of it all. There's a story to finish and a real community desire to see it. I'm not expecting Microsoft and Free for Free to just take the plunge, but I would like them to prove a sequel's viability by giving Halo Wars 2 the chances it never got. Dare I say, the business strategy and many development decisions for Halo Wars 2 were damn near self-sabotage. And this is how. The number one thing that kept Halo Wars 2 from reaching its full potential is the fact that it was not released on Steam. This has happened to Halo 5 and Age of Empires 1 Definitive Edition as well, and solely for one reason. Microsoft wanted to push the Windows Store forward with first-party products. Very strangely, an exception was made at the time for Halo Wars Definitive Edition, the re-release of Game 1, which did make it to Steam. I can't explain this one. These games certainly have suffered in order to benefit Microsoft's long-term platform strategy, but they quickly turned around on their plans. But not before Game Pass started getting big. This has also significantly grown Halo Wars 2's player base and helped keep the game alive to this day, so it's not all bad in the end. The other problem was that the DLC cycle was extremely multiplayer focused. As we have discussed in the RTS Masterminds podcast with my friend Brandon Castile, the lead designer on Tempest Rising, also known as Wayward Strategy, only roughly 20% of players will try out multiplayer, and less will stick around for it in RTS games. Multiplayer-focused DLC drastically limits the target audience of the product and therefore cuts into profitability. What's done is done on this front, but I would strongly urge to make more story-based DLC content in the future of the series to ensure long-term viability. Anyways, just 2 years after Halo Wars 2 released, Microsoft changed its business strategy and started embracing Steam once more. Some products, such as Age of Empires Definitive Edition and Halo the Master Chief Collection, have made it to Steam with this change, but not Halo Wars 2, Halo 5 and some others. The last time I laid eyes on business analytics, approximately only 15% of sales were on the Windows Store, so we know the player base is heavily skewed towards consoles. Steam would have single-handedly turned this statistic around in a significant way. I can only give you my educated guess as to the possibilities, but I wouldn't rule out 1 to 2 million sales on Steam. To be clear, this would only be possible with a strong marketing campaign, and it would have had to start at launch. So the game would have been on Xbox, Windows Store and Steam in this hypothetical scenario. Should Free for Free go ahead with the Steam release in the near to mid-term, whether by themselves or via outsourcing to another studio, I would still estimate more sales than what Halo Wars Definitive Edition has resulted in. So let's say maybe 1 million sales over the next 2 to 3 years. For the complete edition, which includes all the DLC, they could totally charge the current price as seen on the Microsoft Store, so $60. Considering sale deals and Steam's 30% initial revenue cut and 25% between $10 million and $50 million of revenue, at an average sale value of $25, 1 million sales would be worth $18,250,000 in revenue. This amount of money is comparable to the entire development budget of Halo Wars 2. With that established, any concerns over development costs should be out of the window. Besides, it is Microsoft that would do the investing, not like they need any help with money. Insert snarky remark over them laying off 10,000 employees when they have record profits. Anyways, there is already a solid petition regarding this topic of a Steam release. Signing that would be a good start. Almost 8,000 people already did. Link in the description. Now, to ensure such a Steam port gets the best possible results, you want to tweak up the game's weaknesses and add some new features and some small amount of content to the game. There's of course countless things that could be done, but let's start from the bottom up. I think the minimum viable product to release on Steam would be about having crossplay, fixing important bugs, and doing a large balance pass. There are some insane bugs, such as units that move not being able to gain experience. This one makes me very sad, as the game is all about mobile units that can attack while moving. Then there are others, such as Decimus's Boundless Siphon ability, which regenerates units that aren't attacking. This alone leads to players having to face relentless spam of self-healing banshees in team games, creating a super negative experience in these team games, which are also the most popular format. I must say that to me personally, this limited level of work would be incredibly disappointing. There would be a lot of people that would be happy with a less buggy and more balanced game with a larger population still. I think the lower range of the sweet spot is a tier above. Adding some new maps to multiplayer, blitz, and firefight would be fantastic, in addition to bug fixes and balance changes. Map variety is bad enough in the main multiplayer, but blitz and firefight literally work off of just one map. This is unheard of in RTS games. It gets old fast. The mid-range of the sweet spot would have developers go for another tier above this. Add replays, or as Halo players know it, theater mode. Not only is it essential for players to be able to rewatch their matches for learning purposes, but this is essential for content creation too. Imagine each tournament's matches being rewatchable and available to cover by all content creators. Imagine being able to send your matches to your favorite content creator. Imagine the possibilities with coaching. Funnily enough, replays are technically being generated by the game, just like they were in Halo Wars 1. If you ask me, not making a system to play them back was one of the largest blunders to come out of both games' development. Not considering this to be a high priority is a sin in any RTS. The main reason this happened was that the UI system was rebuilt from scratch rather than being a tweaked Halo Wars 1 UI. No amount of reasoning or requests were sufficient to bring about a change on replays. The UI work was simply too much and was one of the most limited resources. In the end though, given that a spectator mode exists, it's fair to say that the replay mode may be realistic to pull off for a re-release. The high range of the sweet spot, and the one I would personally recommend, would be to take all the things mentioned before and make the game more suitable for the PC platform with a massive overhaul for UI and controls, and enabling keyboard and mouse usage for Xbox. This was also a huge blunder during development, where the game was developed for console first and PC was mostly an afterthought when it came to controls and UI. This has spawned significant negative reaction from the RTS community, and for good reason. Any RTS should have a good keyboard and mouse experience. And for a AAA game, it is a must. Well, considering the lack of UI resources, at least now you know why it didn't happen. But it's still not too late to turn around on this. Good controls and UI for keyboard and mouse would significantly improve reviews and overall sentiment for the game if released on Steam. For this tier of work, several other features could be considered that the community has asked for. The petition I linked in the description has some pretty good stuff already, such as the ability to pause multiplayer save and load, skirmish AI strategy reworks, player color picking, adding the main leaderboards to the menus, adding a better progression system with unlockable skins, and more. Now, for the totally unrealistic ultimate level of work would be to pull off what they did with the Master Chief Collection and deliver modding tools and a public lobby system. This would enable the community to make new leaders, new factions, new units, new leader powers, new maps, balance mods, and more. The game would probably never die. I don't need to explain this any further. The possibilities with modding would be truly endless, but this would be super difficult to pull off due to how the game is built. Nothing is ever impossible though, so here you have it. I would personally not recommend creating any extra multiplayer leader DLC for the UNSC and Banished at this point. There are enough leaders, and creating new interesting niches will become increasingly hard. Instead, sell the core product and make the base offering better. Then use the revenue to help power Halo Wars free. If there must be DLC to further justify development, it could be around repeatable mission-like experiences similar to StarCraft 2's co-op mode. I could also imagine there being room for faction DLCs such as the Prometheans or the Flood, along with any further campaign content accompanying these. It would also be a huge amount of work to get them up to par with the massive offering of UNSC and Banished factions, however. I could also talk about the predatory loot box monetization of Blitz, but honestly, I don't have a strong case for changing it. It is not ethical, and I don't think it's healthy, to be clear. But look at the gaming landscape. Why would anyone listen to me about this when revenue is a problem for the Halo Wars franchise already? Anyhow, my stance is that you can get plenty of Blitz packs from progression and missions for your custom game and firefight needs, and ranked Blitz is locked to level 6 anyway. I wish for the loot box store to be removed for what it's worth. This is a AAA game, and I don't think it's appropriate. That said, perhaps there is a world in which free-to-play multiplayer could be considered. We already have massive problems with secondary Smurf accounts. You can make as many as you want, but each taking only a few moments. I doubt there is a clean fix for that, considering that Xbox accounts are meant to allow for product sharing as long as you use the same device. So changing to free-to-play will be purely a business model kind of decision. This would of course help to at least partially justify the Blitz monetization and encourage DLC and or full product purchases, while hugely helping the multiplayer scene out with growth. Combining it with other measures proposed in this video, we could see player counts even exceeding former peaks. What are the pieces of content, features, fixes, and changes you would like to see? I have started gathering ideas on my RTS esports website MetaPlace. Feel free to comment here on YouTube, but if you would post your ideas there, it would be extra helpful. You can also up and downvote each other's ideas, and unlike this video, it will be more permanently visible. The last topic for now would be about there being an official set of Halo Wars brand accounts on all social platforms. This, if kept active, would inject the community with added desire for activity. People would feel more heard and cared about. Separation from the mainline Halo accounts is very important for the health of the Halo Wars franchise. The FPS and RTS games have a fairly different target audience, and while there is some overlap, only a fraction care for both. Lastly, I'd like to talk about community efforts such as tournaments. Free4Free has not once sponsored any event. Not once. They have occasionally provided some swag, but that was it. How can you expect a competitive scene and multiplayer content creation to truly kick off without some serious incentive to play the game? This needs to change. Online events are sufficient. I personally don't have any hopes that we would be listened to on this front though. With that said, I will be continuing my efforts in the competitive scene with hosting tournaments through the MetaPlace project. If you're into that sort of thing, I'd love to see you playing. Should you wish to support this, make sure you subscribe to the MetaPlace YouTube channel and follow the Twitch. We also have a Patreon-like subscription system on the website itself, and the leagues are always accepting contributions. As a community, our next step is to keep hammering Free4Free with requests to make a Steam port happen, and we should try to be clear about what we want to be done. Absolutely do not attack Free4Free, as they will just turtle up in their shell and ignore us. If you are a content creator, please create a similar video or a reaction video to this one. You can also share or like this video and leave a comment to help it reach a wider audience and further amplify the cause. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.